So today we are going to talk about a very specific topic that touches almost all students that are trying to study in Germany, and this is the financial proof. So if you want to study in Germany, usually you have to prove that you are able to sustain yourself as a student, and there are many options that you can actually use in order to prove that. In this video, I'm going to go through all those options. I'm going to explain exactly what they entail. I'm going to explain what you need to obtain those financial proofs, and I'm also going to explain some of the financial proof methods that many people don't even know about and many people don't even talk about. This video will be a very brief summary so that at the end of it, you're going to get out of here knowing exactly which option is going to be appropriate for your own case, because all of these options are actually very broad and they will be very different depending on the situation you're in. So if you are financially more stable, you might go for an option that will secure you financially, and else you can go for options that actually allow you to have more freeway on the financial investment. So the first thing that I want to talk about here is the blocked account. I think most of you guys already know about the block account, but I'm going to explain what it is. So in Germany, there's a minimum amount that every student is expected to spend each month, and that is around 992 euros. This amount is estimated by the government, and this amount is the one that determines which amount you are going to put in your block account. For those of you who remember, this amount was only 11,000 years ago and even 10,000 years ago. With the inflation and the prices of everything going up, this amount is also increasing. You need to remember that this amount is only going to cover the cost of your living for 1 year, and the next year, if this account is empty, you have to renew it. This amount is actually there to prove that you can sustain yourself, so you're not paying this to the government. All you are doing is putting this in a blocked account where you are going to be paid out the amount of 994 euros each month, and that's the only amount you'll be touching each month. For the rest of it, you are going to be receiving that month per month. You are not going to be able to access all of this amount in a given moment. Also, just as a side note, when you have this amount in your block account, this doesn't mean that you cannot work or that you cannot have other sources of income that will allow you not to expend all of this amount in the first year. So the tip is, once you come to Germany and you're able to work, you actually make sure that you don't spend all of your block account money, because the next year you still have to renew it, and in some cases, or in most cases, you will not even have to spend up to 900 euros per month if you live in a small city like mine. I spend around 600 to 700 euros per month, and maximum 800, but that's really for rare scenarios. And outside of that, I'm able to save money if I do my budgeting correctly. I'm going to make a video where I explain all of my expenses, so if you want to watch that kind of content, make sure to click that subscribe button so that you will be notified when that video will come out. Also, what's worth mentioning is that the papers that you'll need to apply for your visa for this block account is the proof of the block account. You need to have like a confirmation letter that you deposited the money in a block account. It can be recognized by providers like Fintiba, Expatrio, or Coracle. These are the main banks that handle block accounts, and these are the banks that will pay you out on a monthly basis. You also need to have like a monthly release confirmation. This is the confirmation that shows that you'll be receiving the 992 euros each month. And these are the papers that you need to prove that you have your block account and that it is ready to go. You actually need these papers to apply for your visa, and you need to have it before your appointment. The second financing option that most people don't usually mention is the Declaration of Commitment, or the Verpflichtungserklärung, and this is actually a very good document that allows you to have a relative, family member, or not even a friend to sign a legal form stating that they will cover your costs while you are studying in Germany. This is mostly used if you don't have the money for the block account, but you have a knowledge or someone who is living in Germany, and they can just sign this paper for you. Actually, it doesn't have to be someone who lives in Germany. It can be someone who lives in the EU or even outside of the EU, but more on that later on. Also, this person needs to fulfill certain criteria in order to sign the form for you. They need to earn a certain amount of money, and they need not to have a lot of people under their responsibility. For example, if someone signs the Declaration of Commitment for 1 or 2 people and they are earning less than 4,000 euros per month, it is assumed that they cannot handle that much people and they cannot sign someone else extra on top of it. This is actually a very neat process when you want to come to Germany and you don't have all the money for the blocked account, because it's actually very much flexible. In order to apply for this, the person that's going to do the application for the Verpflichtungserklärung just needs to have their Lohnabrechnung, which is the salary report for the 3 past months. They also need to have the copy of their passport. They also need the copy of your passport, and maybe your admission letter if you already got the admission or in a university. All they have to do then is go to their Bürgeramt, which is the next mayor office, and then they are going to get the signature for this paper, or the Ausländerbehörde also. A small tip here is that if you have a close tie to the person, usually they can sign only for 1 year and it's valid only for the year. But in some cases, if it's a family related member, they can sign for the whole duration of your studies. And that is really neat, because then you don't have to renew the Verpflichtungserklärung every year. The only disadvantage with this method is that some people don't like doing it because it puts them in a position of responsibility, and if they don't trust you well enough, they will not do it for you, because some people abuse of this system. More on that in the description down below. So the third financing option that all of you guys might know is the scholarship confirmation. So once you have a scholarship, it's very easy for you to prove to the beholder that you already are capable of handling your financial situation. Scholarships are usually awarded by the DAAD, or foundations, or even universities, or even government institutions. They cover almost all of your expenses if they are good scholarships, and sometimes they just cover part of it. In case they cover part of your expenses, then you need to cover up the rest of the expenses by proving that you maybe have some amount in your block account, or maybe you have a verpflichtung erklärung on the side, or even the other options that I'm going to mention in this video. You must also have the official scholarship award letter, which states the amount that you are going to be earning monthly, and also the duration that that amount will be paid to you. The letter must be in German or in English, and it must be addressed to you. Some of the widely accepted scholarships are from the DAAD institution, and some of them are also from the Erasmus Plus institution. These are accepted mostly in any university and also by the Behörde. The third financing option, which I want to mention here, is not really a financial option, but it's the method that allows you to come and study in Germany without needing any financial option. This sounds weird, but it is called a dual studium. Maybe you have heard about it, also called dual study programs. And these programs are where you study part-time and you work at a company part-time, and they pay you a monthly salary. This is different from a part-time job because this is actually a work that is based on the contract that you signed before coming to Germany. This is a program where companies will decide to have like Ausbildungs, which are trainings for employees. They send them to school, and while the student is studying, they work in the company. Usually you sign a contract for 3 years depending on the company that hires you, or you even have like a contract that allows you to work as a part-time while you are studying, and also that assures you that you are going to be hired by the same company after your studies. This is a program that has been very popular in the past years, and it's very neat, and many people are actually using this. And once you are working for these companies alongside your studies, you actually earn more than the amount that is required by the Behörde to earn each month, which is more than the 992 euros per month. I know some friends who are doing dual studium, and they earn around 1,600 euros each month, and even sometimes 1,300 euros, which is very cool because then they don't have to struggle about the studies. But one thing worth mentioning here is that this program is very stressful, it's very time consuming, and you mostly don't have time to juggle between the studies and the work. For example, a classic university student who is like following the other financial options can maybe put some part-time jobs on the hold when university gets rough, but in your case you cannot do that, and the program is already merged with the part-time job, and you have to do all of it together. Also, what's worth mentioning about this program is that some embassies might not accept this without the backup plans. When I was doing my research, so you need to also have a block account or another financial option, but not for every cases. For the cases I know, they don't usually need a blocked account or any other backup option. Also, these dual programs are mostly in German, so you will hardly find them in English. I've actually never seen one, but you only need the B2 level language. And if you want to know how to learn German efficiently, just type in the comment section. If I get enough requests, I'll make a video on that in the upcoming videos. The fifth method here is the parental or family support via bank statements. This is a method that most people don't usually use. It also depends on the country where you are from, but this is when you are relatives, that is, you are related by blood, not just a friend or a close family friend. They can sign a letter, a financial support letter, where they confirm that they are going to send you money regularly and they are going to support you financially. Your relatives will usually do this by showing bank statements and showing consistent income and the ability to support you. So they need to earn at least as much as someone who is living in Europe, and this is very much similar to the verpflichtung erklärungs I mentioned before. All that you need for this is the copy of the parent's ID. Sometimes you also need to have their birth certificates to show that you guys are related by blood. And sometimes you need to show an affidavit of support legalized. And not all of these documents are accepted by the embassies, and usually you still need to pay this with the verpflichtung erklärungs. It is not very widely used because it is very rejected often because of the differences in the economic situation in different countries depending where you're coming from. So these are the different financing options if you want to study in Germany. And I hope this video was very useful to you. Like I said, I tried to combine all of these methods so that you guys can know which option you can choose. And also, So I make the videos depending on the questions I get the most in the comments. So make sure to leave a comment if you enjoyed this video and with the questions that you have about studying in Germany. I got emails about these videos, that's why I made this video. And if you also put what you want to be in the upcoming videos, I'm going to put my all to give you the information that you need. And with that being said, I love you all and I hope you to have a lot of luck in your journey and take care.